John Garrideb, at your service.
Oh, yes.
But, That's an old woman! Be careful! Now then, I hear you want to know about the chap lodging downstairs, is that right? Oh yes, the Japanese chap. Only been lodging here for a week. I have 2 lodgers most of the time, one on the ground floor, and one just below us. He just trots off to that old bookshop every single day, and comes back at 5 to light the gas fire. How do you know so much about Mr. Natsume's routine? It seems that the incident took place at around 5 in the evening. Did you happen to look out of the window at around that time? 5 o'clock is dinner time in the Garrideb household. So I'm afraid I don't remember seeing anything. Well, it's nothing particularly significant, but at around that sort of time and I have an exceedingly good memory, and as far as I remember, nothing of any significance took place here at that hour. Oh, well, as I was saying, it was just a trifling matter, really. Nothing of... Is that the window over there? Well, it was the window, I think, yes. Once upon a time. But for some reason it's been closed up with bricks and mortar. It's a receipt from a second-hand bookshop. Oh yes, Mr. Natsume's name is on it, look. And the date of purchase? 2 days ago at 4:45 p.m. That's the day of the incident. That the retired army man who owns this property is hiding something. There is a mighty secret in this modest room. The first is that even as we speak, you are concealing the presence of a ferocious beast in your care. And the second is that as a result of the beast's violent rampage, you have lost something very dear to you. Once again, Herlock Sholmes is proud to present his Logic and Reasoning Spectacular. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? I am the Story-Driven Gamer, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be jumping back into the Great Ace Attorney adventures. So, in the last episode, we got to investigate Mr. Natsume's apartment. Before we got to investigate his actual room, we ended up in this room, which is the room of Garrideb and his maid. And he's like this... I like him. I like them both. They're a funny pair. They're like this... I think I said in the last episode, he kind of just... His presence, his appearance, I guess, reminds me of Count Olaf. I don't know why, just the way he looks. And he's very dapper, and he's like this old war guy, war general. He was in the army. I don't know what his rank was. And he has all these like stories, and... Yeah, just a funny pair. But they have been hiding something. They're very suspicious. And we're about to uncover that in this episode. But after meeting them, they let us investigate Natsume's room, where he had an adorable little kitty, and it's packed to the brim with books, and it's dark and musty, kind of gross looking. He has that bricked over window, so there's no light. Very murky, depressing place. We investigated a little bit. We found one piece of evidence, which I'll show you shortly, because I realized we never actually looked at it in the court record. And then we got to talk to Sholmes a little bit. And now we came back here, because Sholmes, as we already suspected, we knew these two, Garrideb and his maid, are hiding something. So we came back here with Sholmes to perform one of those deduction spectaculars. And at the very end of the last episode, Sholmes gave his very false deduction. And now we're at the point where we're about to jump in and correct him. So I gave some preliminary theories last time, and I don't know how correct they are. It was about like how there might be something hiding in the lion statue over there. And then I just pointed out little inconsistencies like the carpet being messed up and destroyed. That was probably done by the candle that fell over that was on the floor, not a lion. And I even said like the cabinet might have been destroyed by the cannon because they alluded to that. But I had another theory while I was editing. I thought about it when I was investigating Natsume's room again, and we saw the kitty. It's kind of weird that they would do this twice in a row. Well, I guess not twice in a row, but 2 investigations in a row, or 2 cases, even in the same game. But I'm thinking maybe the cat doesn't belong to Natsume. Maybe it belongs to Garrideb, and maybe it's his cat. Maybe the cat is just, very ill-tempered. Maybe it ran and destroyed all the pottery and stuff in the cabinet. Maybe it knocked over that candle. Like, maybe the candle was... That actually might make sense. We have the candelabra on the table there. So, maybe it was on there. Maybe the cat, nudged it and knocked it over. And it caught fire. And then maybe... So maybe they were afraid of getting in trouble because the cat was destroying the room. So then maybe, Sholmes had said that he thought maybe... maybe they hid the lion that he thinks is involved for whatever reason at the nearby circus. But maybe they hid it in Natsume's room since he's out of the way. Just, a quiet room where there's nobody around. They hid him down there. Or maybe the cat fled to Natsume's room or something like that. But the more I thought about it, I'm like, that could be. I'm thinking that seems likely that the cat is involved. And again, if you remember, there's a cat involved in case 2. That's why I said it would be weird that there's a cat involved in both of these cases. But it adds up. It adds up. So we're about to find out, though, if my theory holds any water. Before we do that, though, we're going to look at this, and then we also have some character bios to look over as well. The secondhand book receipt. We found this in Natsume's room. A receipt discovered in Mr. Natsume's room for some books that he had purchased from a secondhand bookshop before the incident occurred. So, your books, 17th of February, 4:45 p.m. Customer, Mr. Natsume. The sum of 2 shillings tendered in receipt of the picture of Monsieur Lecoq, a meal for Garrideb, and then Canterbury Yearnings. Okay, I know Canterbury Tales. Is that anything like that? Probably not. Okay, interesting name. So I wonder if these actually matter, the names of these books, if they'll come back, or if we need to know them. Okay, and I think we investigated these guys. It's just these 3. So the maid, question mark, a maid who works at the Garrideb household. Her main duty appears to be standing at Mr. Garrideb's side, pouring tea. On him, at every possible moment. John Garrideb, 46, a retired army man who's the landlord of the lodgings rented by the defendant, Mr. Natsume. An old knee injury means he's confined to a chair most of the time. Is he, though? Sherlock Sholmes, 34. There's not a person in the world who hasn't heard of this famous great detective. Not a person except me, apparently. Actually, 46 isn't that old. Well, I guess if he was injured, like he might have had to retire early or whatever. But I don't know. Like I guess like when you think of like an old war veteran, you think of like these 80-something-year-old guys. 46 is not that old. Not as old as I was expecting. I mean, he's got gray hair, gray beard. But whatevs. Okay, let's continue then. A slight massage. That's all Mr. Sholmes' deduction needs. You can do it. I have faith in you. Excellent. I've been waiting for my trusty partner in deduction to step forward, Mr. Naruhodo. We don't even know yet whether or not this is going to help with Mr. Natsume's case. Still, uncovering the truth is always worthwhile, whatever the motivation. And I really, really hope we have enough video, or enough gameplay here, to last a good chunk of this video, because that's the other thing I was worried about. I don't know how long this deduction spectacular thing will take, but if the video pretty much ends soon after that, or, the section ends, and we get a to be continued, I might have to continue a little bit if it's, like, really short. We'll see. At least, that's what I want to believe. Let us start again. From the beginning. Of Sherlock Sholmes' logic and reasoning spectacular. Let's do it. You and me. Course correction. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes. Hold it. Nature of the beast, a rampaging Asiatic lion. It certainly shouldn't take a great detective to see that a fearsome beast has been on the rampage of late within these 4 walls. Thus we are faced with the question, what form might the beast take? Huh? See, he looks up at the lion, or at least the fireplace mantle. So that's why I was like, oh, maybe there's something hidden in the lion statue, but maybe he's looking at something entirely different, because Sholmes is about to bring up the lion statue. Ah, for a man with military breeding, your eyes are uncommonly candid. Your furtive glance, Mr. Garrideb, leads us directly to the answer. The true nature of the beast that has run rampant here is revealed by that lion statue. See, the fact that he points it out makes me think it probably has nothing to do with the lion statue. I really didn't see the lion thing coming. No, but if you observe Mr. Garrideb's reaction, it rather seems as though some beast did indeed run amok here in this room. Yes, something with a very fierce nature. But it couldn't have been a lion transported from India. So what was it then? We must follow Mr. Garrideb's gaze. That will lead us to the true answer. Let's see. What else is up here? I mean, there are the shells. There's also... Oh, well, let me examine this. The only other thing up here is the shell. The mortar shell. Okay, well, let's examine stuff first. Well, this is the lion statue that Mr. Sholmes picked out. Yes, I wonder. Perhaps if you did live with a lion, it would prove to be a rather sweet companion. I think. That's like a mouse trying to tell its family that the cat around the house is sweet. Just doesn't work. I suppose it is a bit of a flight of fancy, isn't it? Anyway, the beast we're looking for is something else. Let's have a good look around. Yes, it's definitely not that. I don't know what else there is. The only two things up here is that the other thing is the mortar shell. These are shells for the cannon, are they? What a strange place to keep them. I imagine they have some significance to Mr. Garrideb from his time in the army. Ah, of course! He mentioned a battle to us before, didn't he? Do you remember? He said that he'd been shot in the knee. Perhaps it was one of these that hit him. Yeah, okay. That would have, like, blown his leg off. If around that size had hit his knee, there'd be nothing left of it. Or Mr. Garrideb, for that matter. Mr. Sholmes has a Persian slipper. And this man has spent shells. Perhaps it's customary in Britain to display, well, rubbish on the mantelpiece. Oh, wait, behind the statue. Oh, there we go. Okay, well, that's definitely it. What's this photograph? Wait, I want to get a good look at his face. It appears to be from Mr. Garrideb's wedding. He looks very happy, doesn't he? He does, but you can't make out his bride. Is that the maid? That looks like the maid. No, how unfortunate. Something must have struck the glass directly over the woman's face. I wonder what happened. Probably best not to delve too deeply there. Okay. The glass is broken, so you can't see the bride's face at all. But no amount of crack should hide the woman's plump form. I think powerful would be kinder than plump, Mr. Naruhodo. Have some tact. Yeah, she certainly looks that. There's a lot of horsepower there. Not someone you'd want to upset, that's for sure. Oh look, have you noticed her wedding ring? It's very large, isn't it? Yes, that's an unusual design. It looks like some sort of embellished sunflower. It almost looks like it's on, I guess that's supposed to be her hand. It looks like a cat's paw. Mr. Garrideb. This must have been when Mr. Garrideb was still in the army. He seems to be carrying his rather stout bride effortlessly and beaming a smile at the same time. I suppose he was very strong in his younger years. Hard to imagine now, he's as thin as a rake. Okay, anything else? I mean, I would imagine we probably have to examine the bride? Right? Let's go for it.
Take that!
There we go. The true nature of the beast that has run rampant here is revealed by that newlywed bride. Precisely, Mr. Naruhodo. No other explanation could possibly fit. Yes, this frame print pictures your wife, Mr. Garrideb. And while we lament the fact that her face is obscured, we can still make out her mighty arms and note the considerable horsepower they must contain. Indeed, surely any woman of such powerful constitution would be honored to be described as a beast. I don't know about that. Honored might be stretching a point. Too late, the fact remains that the beast which so clearly savaged this room was your wife, Mr. Garrideb. Oh, we're going with that? Yeah! The chilling traces of a wild rampage are still very much in evidence. Well? Yet as we look around, the beast in question fails to present itself. Where could this angry creature have disappeared to? Madam? You've got a bit of a plump figure. Me? I pray you don't consider me unchivalrous, but it is plain to me with one glance in your direction. It is? Your dress pocket gives us a handsome clue as to the beast's current whereabouts. The poor, fragile, defenseless woman is beside herself. Well, I don't know about fragile. Oh, dear. Anyway, Mr. Sholmes is quite right. There's no sign of a Mrs. Garrideb anywhere. There's only this very plump woman standing in front of us. But it seems there may be a clue as to her whereabouts. A clue that this maid is trying to hide. I wonder where Mr. Garrideb's wife could be. Where could she be? Two tightly shut eyes to avoid even the chance of a giveaway glance. Pursed lips to prevent any secrets from slipping out. Rounded cheeks to deflect any abuse that might be hurled her way. Yes, this is an unnervingly powerful woman, Miss Susato. It's your turn of phrase that's unnerving, Mr. Naruhodo. Well, what can I say? She's a little chunky, a little chubby, you know? Okay, a teapot. What a charming little teapot. And it's in pristine condition. Joanna has been pouring some deliciously fragrant tea from it for Mr. Garrideb, hasn't she? Well, not so much for Mr. Garrideb, as on Mr. Garrideb, wouldn't you say? I wouldn't dream of drawing attention to it. How dare you? How dare you? Okay, I think those are the only two things it lets me examine. I mean, we're not implying it's in the teapot. I mean, I feel like we're just gonna say that it's the maid, right?
Take that!
No? No. I'm not even sure if I should voice this. It's impossible to believe it could be true, yet for some reason the thought came into my mind that this serving maid is in fact a mighty goddess of deduction. What precisely was your intention with that, Mr. Naruhodo? Just following the natural progression of the deduction. Sometimes the truth hurts. Well, the truth is you don't have a turn for observation or deduction. Did that hurt? Yes, a lot. See, I didn't know what the connection between the note in her pocket was, but we've already established who it was that caused all the damage in this room. Yes, Mr. Garrideb's wife. It's just a question of finding out where she is now. For some reason, I feel as though she's very nearby. I just need to find the evidence to prove it. Okay, so we're not at the point where we have to deduce that it was her. We have to find a clue that tells us it was her. Can I actually examine that? I can. That certainly does appear to be a circus handbill poking out from her pocket. Batty's Circus, currently performing shows in a park not far from here. You don't think... Oh, I just realized! I'm an idiot! Surely Mr. Garrideb didn't sell his wife to the circus. Mr. Naruhodo, how could you even think of such a thing? I was only joking. Before even looking, I bet you she's wearing the ring we saw in the picture. I would have gone with, do you think he fed her to his pet lion? That's somehow worse. Let me see, I bet she is, isn't she? If we go... Yep, I see it. There we go. That should have been apparent. I should have looked for that immediately. She's wearing a very large ring, look. Oh yes, a sunflower design with some rather nice embellishments. And it's on the ring finger of her left hand, which means... It's surely a wedding ring. Why didn't you notice that, Naruhodo? Because I'm dumb. It looks like it's on there for life, too. I can't imagine it would slide off a finger of that size. That's something to think, Mr. Naruhodo, not to say. Damn it! Do you know Mr. Garrideb's wife in the photograph had a ring very much like this one? It was a large sunflower design as well. Really? You have a great memory for these things. A large sunflower wedding ring. It's quite a coincidence that they have the same ring, isn't it? Okay, well that's gotta be it then, right?
Take that!
There we go. Your wedding ring gives us a handsome clue as to the beast's current whereabouts. Oh! Indeed it does. The flowery bond gleaming in your finger gives you away. For it is identical to the one shown in the hand of Mr. Garrideb's bride in this photographic print. In other words, you are no ordinary household maid. Say what? No. You are Mr. Garrideb's lucky bride. You are Mrs. Garrideb herself. Oh my! Word! Gotcha. At least we got you with topic 1. Well, jolly fine detecting, sir. As you rightly surmised, this is the wife, yes? My Joanne. Rather let herself go, you might say, but she was a bally cork of a damn it all. It would appear that you don't live in the most comfortable of circumstances. After all, you are a retired army man, yet you are in the business of renting out rooms. I would assume, therefore, you have insufferable means to employ a maid. Would that be correct? It's not right, I tell you. I was second lieutenant of the 3rd Regiment. A man has his pride, don't you know? By golly, it's a sorry thing when a chap can't even afford to have a single maid in his company. Yeah, poor you. Yes, here in London one is rather judged harshly. A household cannot be considered worthy of society if it employs no staff at all. Though in my considered opinion, such concerns about appearances are folly. You mean Mr. Garrideb has his wife work as his maid? Yeah, I guess just to keep up appearances, I suppose. Precisely. Am I right, Mr. Garrideb? Only in company, obviously. But listen here. This must remain a secret. Don't tell anyone. Keep it secret. Keep it safe. Tip-top secret. Please. I beg you. I beg you. Nature of the beast? The raging wife of Mr. Garrideb. But, like... I guess the point is we've already established she's really clumsy. Carpet gnawed on by the starving lion. So if it was her, then I guess she just knocked over the candle. Now, Mr. Garrideb. It is plainly clear that you will still have deep feeling for this formidable beast. Nice phrasing there. Indeed, in that blithe pose, the distress this loss has caused you is veritably tangible. Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders, the pain you feel being revealed by the supporting arm. Mr. Sholmes is quite something. He's still calling Mr. Garrideb's wife a beast. Yes, as a woman, that feels rather uncomfortable. You men. But Mrs. Garrideb is standing beside her husband as we speak. In other words, he hasn't lost his beloved at all, has he? Oh, how true. So perhaps the supporting arm that seems to be propping up his head has some other significance then. According to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Garrideb's pain is tangible, though. What could that pose of his really signify? Yeah, we saw this before, that there's a slap on his cheek. Let's see, anything else to examine before I examine that, though? The pipe. That's a very large pipe, isn't it? Yes, anyone who has something that size hanging out of his or her mouth on a regular basis is sure to have a serious chin like Mr. Garrideb's. What's that white binding around it all about? That is a good question. Anything else, Mr. Garrideb? Doesn't seem to be, just the slap cheek. Oh, the supporting arm. Mr. Garrideb certainly looks glum. According to Mr. Sholmes' deduction, that's because he's having to endure the acute pain of losing something dear to him. Well, we know that he hasn't lost his wife. So that means there must be another cause for the pain he's suffering. And that would be the cheek. Slap cheek. Oh my, look at that bright red mark. Gosh, that's quite something. And clearly made by somebody's hand. Yes, Mr. Garrideb has been slapped on the face, it seems. Hard. I was gonna say, if that didn't happen recently, then that is some hard slap mark till it still be on his face. I've never seen such a clearly defined mark. Whoever could have done such a thing? Well, there's a very limited number of candidates, I'd say. Okay, I'm assuming that's it. He's covering the slap cheek.
Take that!
There it is. Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders. The pain you feel being revealed by that slap cheek. And of course, to deliver that impressive mark on your cheek that refuses to fade is your wife. Was you, Madam Joanne Garrideb? She's slapping her own cheek now. I wanted to see if his cheek jiggled like mine. Don't judge me. Well, yes. You have been desperate to hide the slap mark on your cheek, sir. Ah! See, when he did that freak out there earlier, that's when I noticed it already. How the blazes? How did you work that out, man? There we go. Now we get a good look at it. Nothing escapes the notice of one trained in the art of observation, my dear fellow. That's why you haven't looked directly at us even once. To keep your other side from view. Well, Now, let us proceed to the next conundrum. Why were we subjected to such a violent slap? In other words, we must ask ourselves, what caused Madame Garrideb to fly into a rage? What do you have to say? And we need only follow the direction of your gaze to find the answer? Yes, it is the pile of bills that have given rise to the pain you suffer. Don't think so. Didn't Mr. Sholmes say that the bills were all for lion fodder? Yes, but now we've established that the lion never existed. Which can only mean that the thing responsible for gobbling up all that food was Mr. Garrideb's wife. Mr. Naruhodo, she's a person, not a thing! That's debatable. Yes, well, she's also a person who gave her husband a mighty slap round the face. Maybe they're hospital bills. One so hard that it left a perfect hand mark, in fact. Yes, why would a woman want to hit her husband with such force, I wonder? I'd love to know the answer to that question. So, it might have nothing to do with the bill. There's something in here. A bookmark. Let's look at this first. Looking at all these bills, it certainly amounts to a great deal of food. Meat and potatoes by the cartload, wasn't it? Well, looking at the two of them, you can tell immediately who eats the lion's share in this household. Whoa, you're really laying on the fat jokes, aren't you, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, at least we're no longer talking about an actual lion anymore. Oh, there's definitely something with that bookmark. Anything else, though? Oh, here's a stack of books here. There are a lot of books stacked up on the shelf here. Look, all novels that I've never heard of. It would appear somebody's purchased them all from a second-hand bookshop. I think Mr. Garrideb is something of a book lover. He's retired. All he has to do is read all day. Okay, and then probably just the bookmark. Yeah. Oh, what's this? Oh, this broken plate. Oh dear, this plate has been smashed to pieces. Yeah, smashed to pieces. That's the word. And nobody seems inclined to tidy up the mess. Perhaps it's some sort of high art. Really, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, anyone who has a cannon on display in their living room is clearly a little eccentric. That be true enough. Yes, let's call it eccentricity. Or clumsiness. Okay. I still think it has to probably do with the bookmark. Ah, someone must be reading this book at the moment. There's a bookmark here, look. Mr. Garrideb is clearly an avid reader. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, it's got a lipstick on it. Oh, is he cheating? I don't think this is a bookmark. Oh no, so it isn't. It's a note written in a woman's hand. So, I wonder what it says, because I can't read it. Yep. Oh, James, I love you. Yours, Mary. How romantic. Wait, no it's not. And look next to the signature here. Lip marks. Oh, lip marks. Made with lipstick. Oh, what a passionate and romantic gesture. Don't get any ideas, Suzuto-san. Oh dear. I'm sorry. So this bookmark is actually a love note then. Okay, well I think, yep. I think that's our answer there. That would explain why you got a big old slap across the face.
Take that!
Oh, Mr. Garrideb, you got some splaining to do. Yes, it is this love note that has given rise to the pain you suffer. Oh, James, I love you. Yours, Mary. Passionate indeed. Perhaps the sender of this note A certain Miss Mary is the fly in the ointment here. Gah! But I don't know the Bally woman. Who's Mary? You don't know her? That note wasn't written on to me. It was just in the book. I don't know how it got there. It was just in there, you say? That's right. That's what I've been saying. Ah, damn it. Criminy. A likely story. Now listen here, Joan, of old thing. I explained at the time. I bought the book at that second-hand place, and that note must already have been in there. So, the previous owner of the book was using the note as a bookmark, you mean? That's right. That's what I've been saying. Ah, Christ. A likely story. For heaven's sake, woman, look at the name. It's written to James. My name, in case you'd forgotten, is John. Ah! Will you cut it out? A likely story. Are you questioning my name now? Slap-a-pow. And there we have it. Arouse the suspicions of the female heart, and you will need to beat with the most ferocious bite. So she found out. Obviously, she slapped him and then went on a rampage and started destroying things. She's got a bit of a temper. Understandable, though. Now, in a final fit of rage, the ferocious beast carried out one last unimaginable attack. Unimaginable? That's right. The aftermath of it can be clearly seen by observing the carpet over there. So it's interesting, we still don't know what's behind the barrier there. I'm not sure anymore. A very expensive woolen carpet, if I'm not mistaken. Oh dearie me. What could have caused such a destructive outburst? Oh! What indeed, madam? This time, madam, I'm afraid it is you who has inadvertently revealed the truth to me. Your wandering eye settled upon the answer very neatly indeed. Yes, to explain the dire state of the carpet, we need only look at the Tower of Cakes. Oh, if I'm gonna point at the candelabra. But surely Mr. Garrideb didn't eat the carpet. No, of course not. There doesn't seem to be any doubt that the state of disarray that this room is in is a result of her wild temper. No, that's true. So, this is the last part of Mr. Sholmes' deduction that we need to fix. We need only to follow Mrs. Garrideb's gaze, and that will tell us the real answer. Alright, let's see what we can see. Yes! Okay. The circus handbill is there, but let's look at the Tower of Cakes. Oh, I just realized you can even see that the candle's missing. So many cakes. Is that all you can think about? Well, look at them, Mr. Naruhodo. There's a mountain of them, and they look so delicious. I want one! It's more of a tower than a mountain, I'd say. It's a mountain, and it's my hope that one day, in our very homeland, I can climb Mount Yummy Cakes. I'll be able to perform the tea ceremony at the foot of such a mountain. It's definitely a tower. Calm down, Miss Suzuto. Circus handbill. This is an advertising handbill for the circus. Batty's Circus. It's in a nearby park. Isn't this the same as the one we saw earlier? The one that was folded up in Mrs. Garrideb's pocket? Perhaps they're very great circus lovers? What a coincidence, that probably had nothing to do with anything. It couldn't be that the Hungry Lion is somehow involved again here, could it? Oh dear, I do hope not. Anything else? I see the candle, obviously. Or candelabra, whatever you want to call it. Okay. Let's examine it. This looks like a very old candlestick, doesn't it? The base looks too small. Surely it's very unstable. It looks to me like even the slightest knock would make it topple over. Oh dear, that would be dangerous. Wait, take a closer look at this. There's one candle missing. Yes, I didn't notice that before. I did, I noticed it on the floor. Why is that, I wonder? Why is one candle of the three missing from its holder? You can see it right there. Oh, we can actually examine the carpet. The carpet here has been ripped to shreds. Yes, and according to Mr. Sholmes' deduction, the tears match those made by an Indian lion's teeth exactly. Oh, look here. What is it? If you look closely at the edge, you can see scorch marks. Oh yes, so you can. In that case, perhaps the carpet wasn't eaten in the normal sense at all. Let's rethink this with that in mind. Yep. As if we didn't need the proof already, that's the proof right there. So,
Take that!
take that. Jack be nimble, Jack be quick. Jack jump over the candlestick. What are you talking about, Mr. Naruhodo? Never mind. Yes, to explain the dire state of the carpet, we need only look at the candlestick. Most illuminating, my dear fellow. And of course, the only possible way out of this logical labyrinth. Yes, the remnants of a ferocious attack in which the carpet was devoured are clearly visible. Indeed they are. The scorch marks at the edge clearly give the truth away. Scorch marks? I got you now. It would appear that this room was the scene of a little marital altercation. Oh dear. Mrs. Garrideb's mighty arm muscles left an impression not only on her husband's face, but on the entire room. The force of her strike caused the candle to fall from the holder and started a fire. And in seconds, the carpet was alight and the whole corner of the room in flames. Yes, For the most ferocious beast in this world is neither a violent lion nor a vengeful woman, but fire. And in this room, that ferocious beast bared its claws and ran amok. Eloquently put, my dear fellow. So you see, there's but one conclusion here. Your wife is a firebender! Oh, God's sake, Col Sholmes. Let me take it over from here. Or let's both do it. Let's go. After the sparks of marital discord flew, this room was the scene of a fire. Luckily, it didn't get too far, but still. Can you stand? There we go. He just falls over. Whoopsie doodle. Mr. Sholmes, sir, I salute you! Timber! I love it. Carpet scorched by a small fire. The truth has been revealed to us. Deduction complete. Elementary, my dear Ryunosuke. We did it. It's these dash long winter nights, you know? Nothing to do but read in front of the fire. Luckily, there's a jolly good second-hand bookshop just around the corner. Buy all my old novels there. And in the pages of one particular novel, you discovered some rather illicit material. For which your wife admonished you harshly, it seems. So that's really funny, so it was all a misunderstanding too. Like, I would have thought that Garrideb was lying if it wasn't for that the name was completely wrong. Don't know about admonished. Demolished might be rather closer to the mark. And beast is most certainly not just... Ah! Here we go again. And the carpet? Was that destroyed by fire when a candle fell on the floor? Afraid to say it was. Happened in the blink of an eye, you know. The whole place filled with smoke. Couldn't see a bally thing. I was caught between the old stick's rage and the raging flames. I don't know which was worse. You paint a torrid picture, sir. One that would have been most entertaining. That's sympathy for you. I wish I was there to watch it with popcorn in hand. Didn't take long for the fire to spread, of course. The bally furniture started going up as well. We've had to hide the mess behind that scene for the time being. Ah, yep, that's where you're hiding. Over here, Mr. Garrideb. Well, you have nothing more to hide now, if you'll allow me. Let's see. Oh, yeah. That's a lot of damage. Had all my favorite old novels in that case. But as soon as the fire got a hold of them, that was it. Whoosh, up in smoke. Gosh. Then the wife started hurling things at me. Almost broke my face. What a terrible sight it must have been. There was I, back up against the window under heavy enemy fire. Incendiary books incoming 10 to the dozen. She loaded them up in that cannon there and had at it. Worst of it is I lost my favorite, book called The Lion's Pride. Ah, there goes the lion. The Lion's Pride? Ah yes, your notorious love of big cats coming through again. I assure you the title didn't influence my choice in the slightest. So the poor man really did lose something dear to him as a result of the ferocious beast rampage. Ah, poor Mr. Garrideb. Mr. Sholmes' deductions turned out to be correct once again. It can only be described as a great British wonder. I tell you, it was total carnage. Flames everywhere, and the old stick in full fettle. Out of interest, what time of day was that? Not sure I can remember. It was 2 days ago now. Let's see, around 5 o'clock, I think. So, at exactly the same time, as a terrifying incident was unfolding outside your window on the street below. Even more terrifying on the inside, I can assure you. So they might have had their hands full and not seen anything. The whole of Blighty could have been flying outside my window at that moment, unless they're lying, and I wouldn't have noticed a dashed thing. Oh, really? We need evidence that that's when the fire really happened. But it seems to check out for the time being. Mr. Sholmes. Yes, Mr. Naruhodo? What can I do for you? Well, I think we've got to the bottom of Mr. Garrideb's situation now. What does it have to do with Mr. Natsume's circumstances? Absolutely nothing, my dear fellow. I can't help you there, I'm afraid. What? My dear fellow, if you recall, I did say as much from the outset. I warned you that, although I knew the retired army man to be hiding something, I could not be sure whether this secret would prove to be of relevance or not. What a waste of time. I just knew you were going to say that. Yes. Now, Mr. Naruhodo, you mustn't lose heart. Bear in mind that all things fall into one of only two categories, those relevant to the case and those not. That makes no sense to me. Well, no matter. It is of far greater importance that you make up your mind now. Sorry? Visiting hours at the prison will soon be over. Oh no! Is it that time already? Better go. If we're to accept Mr. Natsume's case, we have official paperwork to attend to. That's right. So that's it. No more time to think. We barely found anything. We found like 3 pieces of evidence. I don't even know if they're all relevant. Oh yeah, one's my armband, so that doesn't count. We have a map, and then the receipt. That's all we got. Perhaps you'd like to betake yourselves to bidding us farewell now? I must prepare supper for Mr. Garrideb. Oh yes. I'm so sorry. Don't leave me alone with this woman, please. Thank you both very much for your time. Sosuke-san will be waiting for us. And I'm going to have to give him an answer. Okay. I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Naruhodo, whatever your name was, but I'm afraid it's supper time now. I'll have to ask you to leave. Oh yes, I'm sorry. If we linger too long, Mr. Garrideb will start pouring tea again. We don't want that. No one wants that. Alright, shall we go then? No doubt Sosuke-san is beside himself in the cell waiting for us to return. I can't afford to spend any longer making up my mind. I just want to make sure there's nothing else like new to examine. Okay, of course we have that. What a miserable sight. Oh dear. But at least the whole room wasn't engulfed in flames. I suppose so. But my whole collection went up in smoke, you know? All those novels I adored so much. Well, John, whose fault is that? Yours, woman! Not mine, that's for sure. Yeah, this marriage is gonna last. Well, whoever may or may not be to blame, I'm quite sure you can buy some new old books to replace them, can't you? Huh. New old books? Folly nonsense. It does sound like a contradiction in terms, but then these two are full of contradictions. Hee that's couples for you, Mr. Naruhodo. Aren't they so adorable? No. Or so I've been led to believe. Okay, Okay, I don't think there's anything. Yeah, nothing new. So let's get out of here. Okay, we'll go. Oh yeah, the prison. To the prison! Okay, I feel like this will be the end. We'll tell them we're, This isn't where I meant to go. Didn't I click prison? 19th February, Briar Road. It's time, Mr. Naruhodo. We must hurry back to the prison. Yes, I know. The tale of care. Oh. What's the matter? It looks like something's going on over there in front of the Garrideb's house. Uh-oh. Oh my gosh. I know thee not, old man. Fall to thy prayers. How are you calling an old man, you rum-looking niminy-piminy? Oh my gosh. There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. Who's this Horatio fellow, eh? What are you all about? Excuse me. What the Dex? What the? Who are you now? I'm sorry, it just looked as though there might be some problem here. And my associate here, Mr. Ryunosuke Naruhodo, is a lawyer, you see. A lawyer? What? If I can be of any assistance, I'd be happy to help. I'm from Japan, but I've studied English law. Fine, I'll be on my way for today, but do mark my words. This ain't over yet! Ah! What is this voice you're giving me? Get thee to a nunnery! Do I look like a bloomin' nun to you? Okay. What is he, like a performer? He looks like a Shakespeare performer or something. I do hope you're not injured. Oh, fair Eastern maiden, thou art so gentle. Thank you. What was that all about? There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. I'm not Horatio either. Forgive the inquiry, sir, but... Are you a lodger here in the Garrideb residence? Oh, that's right, we haven't met the, What floor was he on? Was he on the ground floor? I forget which floor. I think the first floor. Oh, fair Eastern maiden, thou art so right. Yes, I do dwell in this humble abode. Mr. Garrideb mentioned that he had another lodger, didn't he? This must be the man. Do you happen to know the other lodger who lives on the first floor? Ah, yes, a gentleman named Natsume. Oh, more worthy a polemist in my battle of words ne'er could there be. Sorry? Battle, did you say? Who is the stronger, Hamlet or Macbeth? Mr. Natsume and I sparred long into the night. I see. I don't fully understand, but it seems Mr. Natsume and this gentleman are acquaintances at least. So, fair maiden, so good gentleman. I can tarry here no longer. Fare thee well. Okay. I didn't really understand him, but I think he's returned to his room. It seems he's unaware what's happened to Mr. Natsume, so he can't really help us. We'll see about that. If Suzuki-san and that man as lodgers, the Garrideb house is certainly full of eccentrics. I'm sure they have great parties. Anyway, I'll go and find a carriage. Yes, I'm sure Mr. Natsume is eagerly awaiting our return. Let's hope we can get to the prison before visiting hours are over. Okay, so that was like an in-between thing. Because obviously to get here, or to get anywhere, we had to leave the house and go to the street. I was just confused for a moment. Like, did I pick the right thing? 19th of February, 6:31 p.m. Local prison, cell 9. What voice did I give this guy again? Oh, I gave him like a whiny voice. Oh, you're here! Oh, it's you! You're here! You came! Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire? I can't believe you came back! I'm so touched! We are so sorry to have kept you waiting, Mr. Natsume. Oh no, think nothing of it. Relax. If I were a cat, I would purr with pleasure at the company of such fine compatriots. Noble, nurturing, never failing Nipponese. I missed you, buddy. Oh, now, let's not get carried away. Oh, wait, that's not him. Who's saying that? Oh, I quite agree. Is this Gregson, maybe? There's nothing more reassuring than the familiarity of one's native land. I don't know who this is. Maybe it's a cellmate. On the other hand... Oh, hello there. It is through friendship transcending international borders that one truly appreciates the fact. Something stuck in my throat. Such is my belief at least. Yes, it's you. The miserable, rotten spy, Herlock Sholmes! Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing here? I have no intention of doing anything per se. Save observing, of course. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? Well, having encountered some curious reading material in that gloomful room, and having unmasked the secret identity of that eccentric pair, I decided I should drop in on my way home to see how our divested friend is faring. Gloomful room? At least your accommodation here offers a window, my dear fellow. In that sense, it is the superior option. You should be happy. Anyway, I must commend you on your taste in books. My day has been a delight and cost me not a penny. Ah! You! How dare you, Herlock Sholmes! I've had it. I'm through. I'm at the end of my rope. I should never have come to Great Britain. It was a terrible mistake. Haunted by spirits in those accursed lodgings. No doubt my luck will be cursed in tomorrow's trial as well. My life sucks. My whole life is bedamned. Bedamned. What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo? He mentioned that once before, didn't he? That his lodgings were cursed, I mean. And there is much truth in Mr. Mustache's words. What? Cursed is a wholly appropriate description, I would say. For the man's lodgings, and indeed for tomorrow's trial. What's that supposed to mean? Besides the fact that we have like 1 or 2 pieces of evidence? Okay. We can't examine anything. Oh yeah, we can present this to him. You found this receipt in your room, Mr. Natsume. That's right. I went out to buy some new old books. Isn't that a contradiction in terms? Again. And it was on your way back to your room that you saw the woman being stabbed? She's dead. I thought to myself, she's dead! My mind went completely blank. Before I knew it, I was back in my room, trembling like a leaf. The bookworm hoping to worm his way out of a bad situation? Mr. Naruhodo, please do be careful not to think such disparaging thoughts out loud. How could you possibly know? Okay, I guess I did actually think those. Sometimes I forget what I'm thinking and what I'm not, what I'm saying out loud. Okay. Cursed trial or cursed lodgings? When you said accursed lodgings before, you were referring to your room at Mr. Garrideb's house, I assume? Do you mean to say you believe the place is cursed? It's been a year now since I came to Great Britain, but I'd only been in London a week before I started to notice strange feelings in myself. That didn't take long then. Everywhere I looked, there were foreign faces staring at me, laughing behind my back. I was sure people were talking about me. I started to become nervous about going outside. staring at me all the time from dawn till dusk. So I shut myself away in my room. But even that didn't help. The fear wouldn't go away. I guess explains why you're so paranoid. You must have been very lonely having been away from your homeland for such a long time. I've had to move a number of times, most recently to that room on Briar Road, a week ago now. Yes, why did you choose there? It seems a little inconvenient. The rent is cheap. I have so little money. It appealed to me straight away. Of course, he asked why it was so affordable. The landlord just simpered and said, "The room is cursed. Oops." He quickly tried to cover his mistake, but it was too late, so I told him. If you have something to say, then say it. But if not, don't mention it in the first place! Yes, well said. But it was true. It was all true. You mean, the room really is cursed then? Ever since I moved into that windowless hellhole, my sleep has been plagued with nightmares. I awake feeling as though being choked to death. And in my waking hours, people are stabbed in front of me as I walk down the street. I'm branded a killer, thrown in prison. Nobody wants to know me. I'm surrounded by scary, sinister spirits. Poor Natsume. If only there was someone, just one person on my side. Can no one find it in his or her heart to believe me? Really, no one at all? To believe. Yes, to believe. We got you. Before we talk about that, let's talk about the cursed trial. Mr. Natsume, what did you mean by what you said just now? About the trial tomorrow being cursed? Oh no, why? Why are you looking so grave? You're making me nervous. Oh, just getting carried away, that's all. I didn't mean anything by it. Oh, I see. That's really agitated him. You don't mean the trial really is cursed somehow? No. Say something, Sholmes. Are you referring to the prosecutor, the Reaper, the Bailey? The Reaper? Oh no. What do you mean? Please, tell me. Summarize this succinctly in 16 salient words. No defendant has ever survived a trial in which the Reaper stands for the prosecution. Ever. Even if we win, they die. Oh my goodness! Can it really be true? That was 16 words exactly! Yesterday, Mr. Naruhodo successfully defended someone against the Reaper. But then, after the trial was over, the defendant passed away in unusual circumstances. Mr. McGill did. We probably shouldn't tell him this. What? Ah, I'm impressed, Miss Suzuto. You have an eye for detail. Actually, the Lord Chief Justice told us. Mr. Sholmes? Surely it can't be that having failed to have the accused convicted, Lord Van Zykes killed the man himself? I hope not. Oh no, he couldn't have, surely. Yes, most likely. I mean, you have some wonderful notions. Sorry? The man isn't a mass murderer. He's a court prosecutor, my dear fellow. Oh, yes. Why, of course he is. Of course he is. Then why are you trying to scare me? It could be said, however, that the real truth about that man is even more terrifying than your hypothesis. Come again? What on earth do you mean by that? Okay, let's talk about the Reaper. Van Zykes is a quite exceptional man, however in London courts of law, exceptional does not equate to winning every case without exception. Oh, that's good. Suzuki-san looks like he's gonna cry tears of joy. Sometimes you better hold off on that. As you are no doubt aware, in a British criminal trial, there is both a judge and a jury. I wonder if... I was thinking about that the other day. Are we gonna have just the same group of juries at each trial, or is the jury gonna be different each case? The judge officiates based on the letter of the law, whilst the jury offers public opinion and common sense. It is an excellent system whereby the defendant's guilt is considered from several points of view. However, public opinion in particular is somewhat easily manipulated. Right. Criminal and corrupt lawyers, for that matter, can use it to their advantage. By any means at their disposal, contriving evidence, calling impostors as witnesses, and so on. By such underhand means, those who would want to are able to sway the jury. Which means that even in the light of irrefutable evidence, the prosecution can fail. But it means the wrong verdict can be passed. I suppose so. And sadly, it's from time to time, my dear madam, it is simply the reality of the situation. And that's alright. I mean, that's kind of how court goes, unfortunately. There's never a way to kind of circumvent that. There are going to be innocent casualties, unfortunately. However, those indicted by Lord Van Zyke cannot escape justice. Their fate is sealed. Oh my. Though the education may see them leave the courtroom with their freedom, within months they all disappear. It is most striking. Disappear? But how? By all manner of misfortune, sir. Perhaps they are trampled under a passing carriage. Perhaps they fall into the Thames and drown. Perhaps they are suddenly overcome by a raging fever, or perhaps attacked by a highwayman. Oh no. Shut up. All examples of the reality of events here in London, I'm afraid, Mr. Naruhodo. Well, that brought the mood down. Not that it was light to begin with. I knew it. I'm a dead dodo, done for, doomed! There. I'd give you a pat on the back if I could, well, a pat on the head if I could reach you. Okay, let's go back to this. Mr. Sholmes. Me, Mr. Naruhodo. Pray, what can I do for you? It's about the case on the SS Buria, if you recall. The Buria. Ah, that case. The one with the snake. Well, kinda. Well, yes. At that time, I was the suspect, but you believed in me and listened to my side of the story. And you helped us to investigate. I did I? Interesting. I have no recollection of that. What I want to know is, why? Why did you believe me? I see, yes. You mean... because you were a grimly dressed, shady Eastern fellow found with the victim in a locked room? Well, if you like, yes. I'm a little surprised that the answer requires explanation, my dear fellow. It's quite simple, really. You said, I didn't do it. But I could have been lying, very easily. Surely you must have had your doubts. You must have suspected me a little. No, I don't think things through very much. I think perhaps you have misunderstood. I neither recall believing in you, nor in that which you were telling me. What? Did you believe in the evidence? You see, the only things I believe in are those I choose to believe in. What? What do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? I make up my own mind about what it is to be believed and what is not. If I should like to believe in something, I do. The circumstances can hang as far as I'm concerned. But I could have betrayed your trust. Ah ha 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 ha. Yes. In that case, I should have made an elementary error of judgment, nothing more. Betrayal of trust is an overused excuse in my opinion. Meaning... whether or not one should trust another is the final analysis down to oneself. It is a matter of whether or not one can trust oneself. Yes, he's right. He's right, locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Whether or not I can believe myself, or whether to believe in yourself, that a French lawyer is only as good as his faith in his client. And that comes down to how much faith he has in himself. Yay, Kazuma, I haven't seen you in a while. You were so right, Kazuma. You were so right. Okay, that's it. Well, my dear fellows, it is time we were leaving, I believe. Already? Visiting hours are over. The guard will be here shortly to escort us out. There's a restaurant near here that serves excellent trout. Would you care to join me? So he's like, I would love to, but not you. Oh dear. There's never enough time, is there? Mr. Natsume? If you'd like, in the trial tomorrow, I will defend you, right? I'd be happy to represent you. Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire? Doth my ears deceive me? As I said, I only experienced the British courtroom for the first time yesterday. And although the man I was representing was found not guilty, I lost sight of something crucial. Something crucial? What to believe in? The defendant, justice, or the truth? How to believe, even. But I think I've finally worked it out. I've decided I must believe in myself above all else. To trust my instincts. There you go, Naruhodo. Spittin' facts. Yes, Mr. Naruhodo. And my instincts are telling me that you, Mr. Natsume, are innocent of this crime. They told me that last time, but this time I'm for sure you're innocent. And it's imperative that we prove that in court. Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. I will fight for your innocence until the bitter end, with every weapon available to me. So I hope you'll permit me to represent you tomorrow. As I said when we first met, I'd like to entrust my fate to someone who will listen to me in my native tongue. Of course, Mr. Natsume. It would be fair to say, Mr. Naruhodo, that your mind was in many ways made up from the outset. You merely needed the events of today to fully realize it. Yes, I think you're right about that. I really like Ryunosuke's growth. Like, we're not just getting individual cases, but we're getting like character growth, especially for Ryunosuke, and even Suzuto too. It's cool. I like that. It's been a roundabout journey, but I got there in the end. Forget it. Miss Suzuto. Yes? Would you be willing to stand by my side tomorrow and help me in court? No, you're quite screwed. I'm good. I think I made that joke last time. Absolutely. As I said this morning, you may consider me your personal judicial assistant. You are Maya. Yay! We're doing it, guys. The shocking events of yesterday's trial still weigh heavily on my mind. But it's time to stop looking backwards. Cosmo believed in me, and Mr. Sholmes believes in me now too. So it's time. Time that I learned to believe in myself. Suzuki-san has no one. He's all alone. So it's my job to help him, to fight his corner. Tomorrow, in the courtroom, with all the strength that I can muster. To be continued, right? I'm assuming. To be continued. Yay! Okay, guys, so that is the end of the first investigation of this case. Both parts. And I like it. Like I said, this definitely felt more like a traditional kind of Ace Attorney investigation where you just, you have a lot of different areas to explore and whatever. And now we're going to a trial. And I don't know if we're going to have another investigation and then another trial. Or if this case is just going to be one investigation and then the trial and that's it. I won't be surprised if the fifth case is a couple investigations and a couple of trials. Just because the fifth case is always the super long one. To end the game. But yeah, so far so good. I'm really enjoying it. So we got down to what was going on with I was gonna say Mr. Garrideb and the maid, but now we can call them Mr. and Mrs. Garrideb. So that it's funny. It was all a misunderstanding, but she thought he was cheating on her. She got rage filled, smacked him, started trashing the place. Accidentally knocked down a candle and started a fire. And luckily they were able to put it out before it burnt the whole place down. But obviously they're trying to hide the fire since, there's still residents there technically. I guess that would be trouble if that was found out. they'd be kicked off the premises. And we got to briefly meet the other resident, that very eccentric, I mean, they were all eccentric, but that very eccentric guy in like Shakespearean garb. And that other old man, I don't know if he's important. He was kind of there and then, buzzed off. But it seems like the guy in the Shakespeare clothes, he's the resident in this building. So I'm sure we'll see him again. I'm sure they didn't just introduce him just to be like, okay, I'm here. So he might show up during the trial, or maybe there will be a second investigation where we talk to him. But yeah, this was really fun, and I'm super excited to go back into the trial. I am very curious what the deal is with this Reaper of the Bailey. I mean, obviously we've done a trial with him already, but it'll be interesting to see like what the deal is there. There's got to be some like actual reason. Is he actually doing some kind of vigilante justice thing and like killing the people who he deems, guilty? Or is it actually some kind of curse? I wouldn't put it past these games with all sorts of spirit mediums and stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some kind of curse or spiritual element. We'll just have to wait till next time. So, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, just want to take the time to thank you thoroughly. I really, really appreciate it. Like I've said before, whether you're watching this, the day I upload it, or a year from now, or two, whenever this video passes you by, I appreciate you watching it. And if you would, go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell if you want to know when more videos go up. And share the video with whoever you wish. And I would appreciate it all. So thanks again. Take care. And bye-bye.